we'd like to invite you to relax, close your eyes, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Ganganapataye namo namaha. Ganganapataye namo namaha. Ganganapataye namo namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari. Ganganapataye namo namaha. 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 Om Ekadantaya Vidmahi Vakrajandaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganganapataye namo namaha. 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 Ganganapataye, Ganganapataye, Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Namo Namaha.
Namaste.
Welcome.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang is a Sanskrit word that means community of truth. It's a spiritual gathering of two or more people who are on the path of awakening, the flowering of their hearts in oneness with the divine. And it's a very important ingredient on the spiritual path. The Flowering Heart Satsang is informal. People join us who have different teachers and teachings and backgrounds from many different places. And you're welcome. We're glad you're here. We humans need to awaken from the delusion of separate existence and realize we're all connected, we're all one, and stop this insanity of competition, conflict, and war, and replace it with cooperation, harmony, and peace. But it's going to take more than a religious or philosophical or political movement. It's going to take people's hearts actually awakening and flowering with unconditional love. So that's what we're about. And I'm sure that's what you're about also. We share something called the Flowering Heart Blessing, which is a direct transmission of divine grace, light, love, presence, and awakened consciousness that catalyzes in the receiver that process of awakening from the illusion of separate existence into oneness within oneself, with the divine, and with all that exists. You're soaking in it right now, and the divine showed us that once you've received one of these blessings and you connect with it, you're welcome to be a blessing giver. Just invite the divine to pour the Flowering Heart Blessing through you and hold space throughout this webcast for everyone who joins us tonight and the many, many more people that will be viewing the video between now and next Monday. We have quite a group that comes in. Yesterday we had probably more people viewing the Communion with the Cosmic Christ than ever before on the first day it's up. It was on the power of the tongue, and it would be worth perusing if you missed it. It's up right here on Facebook Live. It's also up on Vimeo and LinkedIn and YouTube, and you can find it one way or another. The easiest way is just to come to my Facebook profile, and all these videos are archived there in the order they were done. So it's really pretty easy to find it. Do we have any other announcements?
No, I would just like to ask for prayer for those that were just affected by the hurricane that hit Florida. We know a lot of people that got flooded inside their house, like 3 to 4 feet high, and just kind of lost everything. Yeah. So we've been helping some friends down at the beach too.
That storm surge comes up through the sewers, and it's not bad. It's bad enough. It's storm sewage, and when that floods people's homes, things are they're done.
Yeah, the smell is horrible.
And
so prayers for the recovery for that, and we've been helping people find places to stay, and so yeah, lots of prayers.
We're very fortunate because Flowering Heart Center is 73 feet above sea level, but everybody that was out on those barrier islands got submerged.
Yeah.
And I've lived in Tampa Bay area for 62 years, and I've never seen it happen. They would predict it year after year after year, and people get insensitive after a while, and then sure enough, it happened.
Yeah.
And it's really pretty horrible, actually. So we're very fortunate. Please keep the Tampa Bay area and wherever else that was impacted, the whole Gulf Coast.
From South Florida to the Panhandle. The
right.
Whole, yeah. So lots of prayers for recovery and aid.
Indeed. And also, if you're on Facebook Live, give us a heart or a thumbs up, a like or a love, so we can go in at the end and see, oh, you were here, and I'll send you special blessings and an extra hug in the spirit. And you can, if you're on Vimeo watching, you can just enter a comment in the chat who you are and say hi. And we appreciate that a lot. So, after the initial meditation while the music plays and whatever announcements we have, we like to open it to questions and answers about the spiritual journey, about the path of awakening, divine union, meditation, whatever might be on your mind that where you would like more clarity, more insight, if you ask, it'll help everyone. So please do that. And while you're thinking about it, I'm going to go to inspiringquotes.com. And today we're going to read an article and a list of quotes to inspire you to connect with nature. And this little article and collection of quotes was put together by Nicole Villanueva. Nicole's a writer, thrift store lover, and group chat meme spammer based in Ontario, Canada. So, thank you for this, Nicole. Let's read what she has to say before we dive into the quotes.
Questions? Oh, quotes.
Modern life and technology have made it easy for us to spend too much time indoors. Fixated on screens and being sedentary, it can be difficult to find the motivation to get up and get outside. But time spent in nature is always worth it. Recent research shows that even short bursts of exercise can help counter the effects of our modern lifestyles. And increasingly, studies suggest that spending time in the great outdoors can improve attention span, lower stress, and even help us have more empathy and compassion. Connection with the natural world has long been an inspiration for writers and artists. The diversity and complexity, not to mention the vast mystery of Mother Nature, can offer perspective and stillness and be very grounding. With that in mind, we've collected 15 quotes to help you ponder and appreciate all the natural world has to offer, and maybe even motivate you to go outside. So here we go. Wilderness is not a luxury, but a necessity of the human spirit. Edward Abbey. I believe that there is a subtle magnetism in nature, which if we unconsciously yield to it, will direct us aright. Henry David Thoreau. I felt my lungs inflate with the inrush of scenery, air, mountains, trees, people. I thought, this is what it is to be happy. Sylvia Plath. The closer you get to real matter, rock, air, fire, and wood, boy, the more spiritual the world is. Jack Kerouac. There's something infinitely healing in the repeated refrains of nature, the assurance that comes after night and spring after winter. Rachel Carson. Hiking is not escapism, it's realism. The people who choose to spend time outdoors are not running away from anything. We are returning to where we belong. Jennifer Farr Davis. If we surrendered to Earth's intelligence, we could rise up rooted like trees. Rainer Maria Rilke. Nature always wears the color of the spirit. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I feel the delightful, velvety texture of a flower and discover its remarkable convolutions, and something of the miracle of nature is revealed to me. Helen Keller. Now I see the secret of making the best person. It is to grow in the open air and to eat and sleep with the earth. Walt Whitman. earth and sky, woods and fields, lakes and rivers, the mountain and the sea are excellent schoolmasters and teach some of us more than we can ever learn from books. John Lubbock. Perhaps the truth depends on a walk around the lake. Wallace Stevens. The natural world is the greatest source of excitement, the greatest source of visual beauty, the greatest source of intellectual interest. It is the greatest source of so much in life that makes life worth living. David Attenborough. Nature can bring you to stillness. That is its gift to you. Eckhart Tolle. The poetry of the earth is never dead. John Keats. Nice.
Nice.
Ah,
Wow, what happened?
I don't know. Great. So Yekaterina says, we'll pray, and the interfaith communion was amazing.
Nice.
Thank you.
I'll have to watch it.
And Suzanne was helping a friend rescue her stuff, which was being moved out and set on the street by workers while she was out of town.
Yeah.
We asked the deputies if that was legal, and the deputy said, I don't know. So, Tristan writes, my first question is as someone who's been through trauma, drug addiction, abuse, do I get an opportunity for awakening enlightenment? Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes, having been through trauma and drug addiction and abuse, you are more ready for the false self system to be dismantled and dissolved. So many people who are involved in addiction, rehabilitation, and trauma rehabilitation, 12 steps and other programs like that, are really quite advanced on the path of personal discovery and awakening. So yeah, absolutely. Nothing disqualifies you. It's never too late. There's nothing you could do that would taint God's unconditional love for you and desire to free you. Okay. Tristan continues, asking the group for a blessing for myself that I be healed, healthy, protected, prosperous.
Okay.
Definitely, we will hold that intent for you tonight. And Moreya writes, every day is a new day full of possibilities and opportunities for all. It is in your hands. It only depends on you. The past does not matter. And she's responding to Tristan.
Nice.
And writes a second comment, a group blessing for Tristan.
Yes.
We will definitely do that when we get to the intent blessings in just a little while. If there are no more questions, it may be
Sooner than later.
sooner than later, yeah. So we'll leave it open for a few minutes. If you have any further questions for more light on your journey and your understanding of the process you're going through, please ask. It is our delight to shed light. That even rhymes. This is one of those times where, well, I remember after 9/11 in New York City, we saw some of the best in human nature. And New Yorkers were not really well known for empathy, compassion, and openness to strangers and others. But after 9/11, all the barriers melted and people began to pitch in and help one another. I'm just looking forward to the day when it doesn't take
Okay.
tragedy and crisis to tap that unconditional love and compassion that we have for each other, for our fellow human beings. But we're seeing some of that again.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the friends that we're helping out is, we mentioned him before, he's 95, and he had just finished having all the restoration done from being flooded last year. He had about 2 inches of water, not 3 feet. And he had just gotten his floors redone and his kitchen cabinets and the appliances, and it was like exactly a year ago almost. And
Yeah.
so we've been on a mission to, make jokes and keep him positive, and because it would be very easy just to want to give up at that point. And so he's staying in good spirits. That's been really good. And the other friend that we're helping, we've been making jokes and telling memories that she has when we're looking through her stuff and packing things up. And I've told both of them that it's impossible to be depressed if you're in a state of gratitude, and both of them have really taken that to heart and are looking around at what they do have, what they were able to salvage, their health, and new beginnings, new possibilities. So that's been inspirational. So that can be a big heavy blow, having everything that you love ruined.
Especially all your family photographs
Right.
from generations and family memorabilia.
Mm-hmm.
It's just heartbreaking to see. So, Tristan writes, have you ever met awakened people? I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Have you ever met awakened people who got led astray from their guru and found them later in life? Hardship reminds me of Job in the Bible. Well, yes, I've certainly known people who got led astray from their gurus. That might have been me at one point.
He said awakened people that got led astray.
Oh, awaken now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but the point is, can you still be awakened? And can that be rectified? And the answer is yes, Tristan.
Yes.
People often go through periods where they're alienated from their spiritual teacher. And it's kind of like a spiritual adolescence. It's like in a human family and relationships, you in self-actualization, you get to a point where an adolescent needs to cut the apron strings, be the boss of their own life. And often they hold their parents and parental authority figures at arm's length because they need to establish their own independence and center. And that happens in the spiritual journey. Some people are so, I want to say addicted, but I'll find another word. Dependent on their spiritual teacher, their guru, that they actually get stuck. And like the adolescent, and I've seen it happen to a lot of the monks that I met in India who are in very beautiful states of consciousness, they got to the point where they needed to say to the guru, no, I don't need someone to tell me what to do every second of the day. I need to,
Figure it out.
yeah, figure it out for myself. And many of them come back around. I went through a period of not full alienation, but distance from my teacher for kind of the same reason. I needed a measure of independence to explore. And eventually I came back and said, oh, I am such a fool. I am sorry. And he said, no matter, never mind, let's go to dinner. Teachers that are really awakened and wise are not surprised by the need for a student or a beloved disciple to take some time off and explore. But many people in the guru world will make you feel you've just failed completely. Hey, there's no hope for you if you ever leave your guru. Well, there's often a very good reason for that. So
I kind of like to see everyday life and every moment as my guru. We can always learn from the situations around us, whether it's something we're observing or something we're engaged in, or nature, or a conversation with somebody. Every moment in life is an opportunity with the situation in front of you to be your guru.
Tristan finished that question or statement with, hardship reminds me of Job in the Bible. Ekaterina said she's been reading Job, and I spoke about it in the Interfaith Communion yesterday. I did, as a matter of fact. Job is problematic, and a lot of people identify with Job when their lives fall apart, because Job's life just really fell apart, and he was the apple of God's eye, and so close to God. And so the question is, and Job is the oldest book in the Bible. It was actually written before the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. I mean, Genesis is about the beginning of creation, sure, but Job was written before Moses wrote Genesis. So it's the oldest manuscript in the Bible, and it's puzzling. Why did God let Job be so taken apart, shattered, and lose everything? And he did. And we looked at that, so if you're interested, you might watch that teaching from yesterday from the Interfaith Communion with the Cosmic Christ on the power of the spoken word. But Job actually tells us in his own words why he went through that. I mean, yeah, he was a righteous man, but he had 2 sons who were sexually abusing the daughters of Israel in the temple, and he didn't stop them. What he did instead is he kept offering blood sacrifices up to cover their sins. Meanwhile, living in fear that sooner or later that was not going to be okay with God. And so when everything fell apart and Job lost everything, it's really early in the book of Job. It's in chapter 3, verse 25. Job says, "The thing which I greatly fear comes upon me, and that of which I am afraid befalls me." He was living in fear and proclaiming his fear, saying, "The thing I've greatly feared has come upon me. What I've dreaded has happened to me." Well, he should have stopped his sons from what they were doing, and that would have taken care of it. But he chose instead to live in fear of judgment. And God was very merciful. It wasn't really about that. It was about that the dark one came, God called him and said, have you set your heart, Satan, on my servant Job? And Job says, "Why would I do that? He's like, you keep him totally protected. I can't get near him." And he said, "But I'll tell you this, if you take away all those gifts you've given him, he'll curse you to your face." He doesn't love you, God, because you're God. He loves you because of all the gifts you've given him. So let's put this to the test. And God's answer is really interesting. He says to Satan, "Job is already in your power, but do not kill him." So the reason God brought Satan before him to talk to him is he knew that Satan had drawn a target on Job, and that Job was vulnerable because he was living in fear of sin that he was not correcting. And so he intervened, and he didn't say, "Okay, Satan, you can have him for a little while." No. He said, "He's already in your power," because he was in fear. And speaking about his fear, he had already opened the door to darkness. And in the end, everything's restored. Everything's turned around. It's a rough book to get through, but God restores everything Job has lost and given him more, and he lives to a ripe old age. So yeah, it's quite a book, and it's puzzling. It's been a puzzle for theologians and biblical scholars for many generations. Why would God have allowed that? When right here, Job said it, "The thing I greatly fear comes upon me, and that which I'm afraid of befalls me." And it does. Fear is like a negative magnet, just like faith draws to us blessing. Fear draws to us the very thing we don't want. It's pretty simple what happened to Job, but it's quite a meditation. Anyway, So, I don't think any of us have been through anything quite like that guy.
Can you reread that question from Tristan about awakening and gurus?
I was just addressing it. Have you ever met awakened people who got led astray from their guru and then found them later in life? Hardship reminds me of Job.
Well, I was just, there's multi-layers to that as I was mulling it over. That's why I wanted to hear the question again, is because as we're awakening, we may not be hearing things the same way as they're being spoken from a guru, but also we may be needing to hear things in a different way in our awakening process. And also it's very easy, not easy, but one of the pitfalls of awakening and gurus, spiritual teachers, is the false self kicking in and saying, ha, I'm doing this, ha, I'm so great, ha, I'm helping so many people. And it's not coming from a place of love, it's coming from a place of ego. And so that can also happen quite frequently. We've seen it a lot. I remember once a really popular, famous spiritual teacher said, Michael, come with me on the road. We'll fill stadiums and tens of thousands of people will come. We'll be a great team. And Michael's like, no, thank you. That just sounds like a road of problems. So yeah, it's always good to look inside and see where your motivations are coming from. And on the spiritual path, if you're growing and awakening, are you at the same time getting more humble and more compassionate and more helping and serving? Because those kind of go hand in hand. The divine wants us to be of service, to help each other out. And the more that we are called to do that, the more of a sign of your false self being reduced, because you're not doing things because you're going to get something out of it. You're doing it because it's in divine alignment.
There's a fear teaching that often is given to people in the East that without a guru, you cannot be liberated, you cannot be awakened, you must have a guru. That's like saying God can't do it. I mean, Eckhart Tolle, I think, is recognized as being a fully awakened being by people of all traditions, and he didn't have a guru. And somebody didn't walk up to him and go, your awakening doesn't count because you need to submit to a Hindu guru. Oh, God can do anything that God chooses. So Morey writes, I have felt a big intensity even when I'm alone, and the next 2 months seem in crescendo. What do you recommend us to do?
Keep returning to your heart. Keep returning to knowing. Keep returning to grace. Keep having faith and confidence that the divine is there and always will be and will guide you through whatever comes up.
Trust. Keep your eyes on the divine. If your eye is single, your body is filled with light. If you abide in the presence under the shadow of the Almighty, no evil shall befall you, no plague will come near your dwelling. God will give the angels charge over you. And I highly recommend Psalm 911. Psalm 91, starting in the first verse. Some people call it Psalm 911 because if you got to make an emergency call to God, open a Bible to the 91st Psalm and just meditate on it. Read it out loud. I highly recommend it. So that's what I recommend us to do, is to deepen our focus, our connection, and our trust in the Most High. I don't know for sure, but I suspect that there's much more in store than just what's coming in the next 2 months. And all of it is making way for the new earth. Christ said, when a woman is in labor, she's in travail giving birth, and there's great sorrow. But when she brings forth the child, there's such joy for giving birth to the new child that's come into the world that all the sorrow and the travail is forgotten. Well, Jesus was telling that story to his disciples because he was saying that that's what you're going through now. We are all involved in the birthing process of the new earth. And I'm not going to lead you astray and say this is going to be easy. But we're definitely coming through it together and giving birth to the new earth. And it's a given. Ekaterina she said about yesterday, and More says, I started tapping 1 month ago and feel much more calmed and at ease. Do you practice tapping? We mean
EFT.
EFT. I have. I mean,
Yeah.
it hasn't been a practice for me that I've carried on, but on a number of occasions, I've been led, and other people have, sung the praises of it, and I found benefit with it. In India, they'll combine it with mantra and visualization and some very esoteric EFT that's powerful. So, if you want to look it up, we're not talking about tap dancing, although that's probably pretty cool too, actually.
I was just reflecting on the night of the hurricane last Thursday night. We were sitting outside in a safe area that was sheltered from the wind, and had a friend over, and we were sitting there. It was dark, and the sky was just lighting up like 4th of July with transformers blowing everywhere. We were getting like 79 miles an hour wind, which is 1 mile an hour less than a hurricane. Yeah, at our place. And I had never seen such colors. When the transformers blow, I guess there's gases in them, different gases for different functions. And so there'd be like pastel yellow, and then pastel pink, and purple, and blue, and green. And we're sitting there, it was like Easter colors.
And we were thinking, we're not going to get any power back for a while.
The point of me bringing this up was I was, sitting there just watching it and seeing how beautiful it was, even though it was in the middle of what could have been a crisis, and I could have been full of fear and, oh no, what happens? I've been reflecting on that a lot lately about our responses to things, and the mind comes up with doubt and worry and fear. Which is unnecessary because we can't really control what's going to happen. We can just flow with it and respond to it in the healthiest way possible for us and everyone else around us. So we were sitting there going, wow, look at that one. Oh, there's 3 different colors at once. And then the person that was with us goes, yeah, that's just another one step that's going to make it lose the power and not come on anytime soon. And we were like, oh, well, we'll just roll with that too, It's and we did. We lost power for a day, but a member of the community brought us a really quiet generator. It was really nice, and so our food didn't go bad, and we made it through. It's kind of uncomfortable when our bedroom was 86 degrees, but to try and sleep. But we got through. Everybody got through it.
We haven't finished, though, with
okay.
Maury's question about EFT.
Oh.
And Yekaterina says, I've done it. And Yekaterina adds, but I recommend more the centering prayer for a deep transformation. And Maury says, tapping works with somatic release. It brings us to the body and healing. Indeed, I hear what you're saying. Because trauma is stored in the body, Maury writes. That is correct. So EFT is you doing something to help release that stored emotional energy. Centering prayer is a deep, deep surrender to the divine presence and action within you. It also releases very powerfully somatic trauma. People be sitting there doing centering, just yielding and returning to the presence, and their body will just go boom, like that, like a spring is being released in them. Deep stuff. So find what works for you. EFT is great. I think centering prayer is a different thing because we're not doing anything. we're just continually yielding ourselves to the divine presence who's taking us deeper and deeper and releasing that trauma. The divine is doing it. But get her done. So there's no reason you can't do both. But I hear what Ekaterina is saying about the centering prayer. It's very deep, and it doesn't rely on us actively doing anything except constantly returning to the presence and letting go. Okay? And that does bring up the trauma. Yes, it does. Sometimes faster than people want. And yes, trauma is stored in the body. All this traumatic emotional material, it's not just, even your brain is part of the body, but this stuff is stored, in our physical bodies at a very deep level. And so to bring it up, and some like with war vets who have PTSD, sometimes something like holotropic breath work can be a very powerful tool, because in breath work, guided breath work, it takes you into this place where all of your energies are released and coming up. And I've known of many veterans with PTSD that have been helped with that, in combination with centering. So these are not mutually exclusive technologies.
Right.
And Morey says, we will use the all. Yes, we will. And Robert Reister says, I'm glad you two fared well in the storm and didn't go with the flow of the surge. Yep. We were swimming against the current for sure, Rob. Yep. We're very grateful. That's the benefit of being at 73 feet above sea level.
Which always makes me laugh, because I grew up in Wyoming. It's like a mile above sea level. So when we're bragging about 73 feet, it just cracks me up.
Well,
but it does make me feel better. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get flooded.
No.
So, yep. Okay then. Well, let's close our eyes and open our hearts to the presence. Invoke the divine presence within. This presence is the Godhead. The Godhead dwells within you. Rumi said not just a drop of God is in you, the whole ocean of God is in you. And it is pure unconditional love. All this teaching about judgment and punishment, very poor teaching. I wonder if the people that teach that ever really met God, because God is pure unconditional love and loves you more than you can possibly imagine. The divine already knows every foolish thing you ever did and every foolish thing you're ever going to do. Knows the future and still loves you fully and unconditionally and yearns to liberate you from suffering. Our main cause of suffering is that we feel separate from our true selves, from the divine source, and from all of creation. When in fact, we're part of a fully interconnected field of consciousness that contains the entire universe. We're part of it. And when the illusion of separation and distance dissolves, we discover the bliss of connection and oneness. The divine wants to give that to you. So receive. Receive. Tristan, the divine wants to free you fully and fill you with peace and joy, which is the nature of the divine presence. Joy and peace, freedom and healing. Let it flood your being. Receive what you've asked the divine to do for you. Now is the time just to open up and drink it in and receive. The divine knows what you need before you do. And knows how to get it across to you because it's all powerful and all wise. Receive your healing. Accept the protection you've asked for. Know that prosperity is yours when you put the kingdom of God first. This presence shines in your heart, out through the layers of your soul, the emotions and the thoughts and the programming, to dissolve wrong thinking, to dissolve traumatic emotions, programming that is useless. Let the divine clear your mind field and fill you with inspired ideas and feelings, thoughts, plans. It shines out from your spirit through your soul into your body. This presence is life. Receive healing and release from trauma and pain in your physical body. Just let the divine presence have its way. Soak it up, drink it in. It wants to shine into your relationships, to heal them, to make them right. And through your life into the world, to touch others and bring them to the light. Imagine us all sitting in a circle together, a blessing circle. Let us put all of those people who were so affected by this hurricane that just passed through the Gulf of Mexico in the center of the circle. And let us ask the divine to help them to begin again, to be at peace. To give them whatever it is they need to help them through this. Invite the divine to pour the blessing through you to them. Visualize the beautiful translucent blue planet Earth in the middle of our circle. And let us ask the Divine to melt away the fear, the anger, the hatred from the hearts of humanity. To release true divine love in every human heart. To bring healing to humanity and to the world. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now we invite you to, when you're ready, open your eyes and begin to make direct contact with Suzanne and or me. Just keep looking at least one of our eyes. That's all you need to do. And the light floods us and flows through all of our being to you, especially through our eyes, the windows of the sun. As you keep making eye contact, the light shines out through our eyes, in through your eyes, into your heart of hearts. To cause the divine light and the fire of divine love to shine brighter and brighter and brighter within you, bringing transformation. Just receive. Close your eyes now. Meditate with us for a few more minutes as the grace we receive settles. Now keep meditating as long as it feels nice to you. Or find a spot to lie down in Shavasana. That's to lie on your back comfortably with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides with your palms open, turned upward, and just dissolve in gratitude in the presence. Can't be beat. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Look forward to the next time we meet. Until then, know that the divine within us beholds the divine in you. And we bow to you.